Hey guys, April Melvin here, and I am the co-owner of Midwest Senior Benefits and Right Way Insurance Group, and this video is going to talk about the ABCDGOMG of Medicare. But before we get into the main part of the message, I do want to ask that you please like and subscribe to our channel. We put out videos on Thursday, and they are all based on insurance, and so if that is something that you feel like you need to be paying attention to, and spoiler, we all need to be paying attention to our insurance, then hit that subscribe button and don't forget to ring that bell. So I think one of the biggest reasons why Medicare is so confusing is because you don't just get a policy, you get several. And so today I'm going to break down sort of all of the different parts and pieces of Medicare, just hopefully to provide some clarity to this very confusing topic. It's, the government, so of course it's a little confusing. But the first part for original Medicare is Part A. So when you first turn 65 or when you're first ready to go to Medicare, Medicare itself has two parts. Part A, that is all of your hospital care. So anytime you are hospitalized, Part A is going to provide that coverage. Now, for most of us, we don't have a premium for Part A because Part A's premium is based on the number of quarters that you or your spouse have worked. And so as long as those 40 quarters have been satisfied, there is no premium for Part A. Now, if you haven't satisfied those quarters, excuse me, there are some tiers. And again, if you guys have questions about that individually, because I'm not going to dive into those specifics now, just shoot us an email. Our contact information is below, and I'm happy to help you research that. But 40 quarters, that means that Part A is zero premium for you. If you don't have the 40 quarters, then there are ways that you can get Part A. But again, that's all the hospital care. Now, I do want to point this out because I do think that this is something that not a lot of people know. Part A, the hospitalization piece, only covers 100 days in a nursing home or a long-term care facility. After 100 days, they go, you're on your own. So if you are concerned about that, you need to seek other resources to cover that expense because Medicare, again, is only going to cover that first 100 days. So that's Part A. Part B is the medical side. So your doctor's visits, your physical therapy, CAT scans, MRIs, anything that isn't the hospital room is under Part B. Part B does have a premium. For most of us, our premium is $174.70 a month in 2024. In 2025, I believe that number is $185. So that Part B premium number is going to change. It doesn't always go up. There's one time in my life that it went down. So it does change from year to year. It fluctuates. We get those new informations, now to share with our clients. So you can get that information yourself around this time. 2025, again, is going to be $185 a month. That is paid a couple ways. If you are collecting Social Security, that amount is going to come straight out of your Social Security check. You don't need to do a thing. If you're not collecting Social Security, then Social Security is going to bill you. Now, that first bill is going to give you a little bit of a sticker shock because you're expecting that monthly charge, but it is the government. They don't do things on a monthly basis. So they want a quarterly payment. So your first bill most likely will be 3 or 4 times that monthly amount. Do not fret about it because you can set it up for automatic withdrawals. Usually the bill that they send, that invoice, will have those instructions in there, but you can also go to Medicare.gov and get that set up. In fact, I would just encourage you guys to set up a Medicare.gov account. It's a fabulous resource full of lots and lots of information, so you can set that up through Medicare.gov. That's Part B. Now, here's the thing. Part B, again, for most of us, is that base Part B premium. But if you are in a lower tax bracket, and maybe you qualify for Medicaid, there is a chance, based on your level of qualification, that your Part B premium is covered by Medicaid. Or conversely, if you are in a higher tax bracket, then Social Security every single year is going to go back 2 years to your taxes. So for 2025, which is the year we're coming up on, if you're on Medicare now, they're going to go back to 2023 and go, okay, what was their taxes? And if it's above this threshold, it's called an IRMA, income related monthly adjustment amount, they're going to assess that IRMA if you fall above those. And that's tiered. Again, I'm not going to get in the nitty gritty on that. If you have questions, our contact information is below. There are ways to appeal that, and there are reasons to appeal that, but just know most of us have this base premium. In 2025, again, it's going to be $185 for your Part B. That is a moving number, and if, again, you're in those higher tax brackets, it can really move. So be on the lookout. The letter's going to come from Social Security Administration, usually in November, first part of December. So that's the original Medicare parts and pieces. A is hospitalization, B is medical, A, as long as your 40 quarters is satisfied, no premium. B, the premium can be a little bit of a moving target, so you do want to pay attention to that and ask questions if you have them. That's original Medicare. You've got to start with that. But as awesome as original Medicare is, it doesn't cover a couple of things. One, there's about this 20% gap that it doesn't cover. So Medicare is good for about 80% of your costs, but the other 20% you're responsible for, and there's no cap to that 20%. So if you had a $100,000 hospital bill, original Medicare, for rough numbers, is going to pay about 80% or $80,000. You would be responsible for the other 20% or $20,000. So you really do want something to cover that 20%. The other thing that Medicare doesn't cover is it doesn't cover prescription drug plan or prescription drugs. That is a completely separate plan that you need to get. You can get those things a couple ways. I'm going to throw another letter at you. Part C. Part C is your Medicare Advantage plans. And I want you to think C for coverage, because if you go on C, your coverage is going to completely change. Original Medicare will no longer be the driving force. Whatever carrier you select for your Advantage plan, that's going to be the primary coverage that's going to take care of you. So think C. Part C is coverage. It changes your coverage if you go with C. I'm not going to dive into what Advantage plans are. We'll have a different video for that. But know that if you hear Part C, they're talking about Medicare Advantage plans. Now, Part D, that's how you cover your drugs. Think D for drugs. So a Part D plan, or a PDP, we love acronyms in the insurance world, that's going to be a standalone prescription drug plan. You do need to have that in place, and you do need to have that in place even if you don't take prescriptions, because first, there's only specific times of year that you can get into the plan. So let's say you go, nope, I don't need it. I'm just going to wing it. Come July, your doctor prescribes you with a tier 3 medication. Maybe he hits you with an Eliquis. Maybe he hits you with a Jardiance. I don't know. Those drugs are unbelievably expensive. And if you don't have a prescription drug plan in place, you are paying cash for those. And you can't get into a plan until January 1st of the following year. So you do want to have something in place, because you could be setting yourself up for a very bad year if you don't have that standalone prescription drug plan. And yes, I know you're not taking any prescriptions now, but still get a plan. The second thing is, if you don't have that coverage, the government, when you do finally enroll in a prescription drug plan, they will assess a penalty. So that penalty is going to go up for every month that you don't have it. There's a funky calculation. Again, if you want to know more particulars about that, ask me. Our contact information is below. But just know that you do need to have a prescription drug plan. Now, if you are in an Advantage plan, most Advantage plans have that prescription drug plan included. And so with C, you're kind of killing two birds with one stone, but you do need to have prescription drug coverage, whether it's on an Advantage plan or a standalone one. And then all the other letters, A, B, G, I know these are plans, F, N, OMG, there's so many. Those are supplements. A supplement acts as a secondary to original Medicare. So remember I said that 20% that original Medicare doesn't cover? Yeah, your supplement's going to cover that. The most popular ones right now, if you are turning 65 and going into Medicare, are G and N. G is going to be the most comprehensive of coverages. N is going to be right behind there. Again, I'm not going to get into the nuances of the plans. Those are just the two most popular now. There are others, so you might have a parent that is on a plan A, or you might have a sibling that's on a plan F. Those are not available to you right now for various reasons, and those are still great plans. They don't need to change. Everything can remain the same for them. But if you're turning 65, G, N, high deductible G, K, L, M. Those are the supplement plans that you have available. Again, I'm not going to go into the particulars because we could be in this video all day and nobody wants to talk about insurance for that long. In fact, we are teetering on 10 minutes. I'm sure you guys are sick of me already. But that's it. Those are the basics of Medicare. You have your original Medicare with its two parts, A and B. From there, you need to decide, do you want to go with Part C, which is an Advantage plan and houses that prescription drug coverage, or do you want to go with the supplement plan and then have a standalone prescription drug plan? Everybody's a little bit different. Again, we're not going to go into the depths of which plan makes the most sense, but I hope that clears up some of the letters and information on original Medicare. Again, if you guys have any questions on any of this, our contact information is below. We are always available to help. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.